I doubt that very many of you would need any introduction to Bob Lozier, who regularly wins prizes for his wonderful restorations. And Bob is going to be up first and talk about plating sheet metal, nickel plating metal parts, and also ultrasonic cleaning of parts. And our other presenter is also someone that's known to most of you, obviously. He's Bill Fazette, ex-president of AWA. Bill loves to work with communications receiver, and he's going to be giving a talk on putting together a famous superhet design, do-it-yourself superhet design called the HDR receiver. So with the other thing I want to make here is that this forum is a little unlike the other forums you've been to today, in that there is no official stopping time. Nobody comes to use the room after us, and sometimes the questions and answers get going, and they're interesting enough that we've been known to run until 11 o'clock. So anyone that gets tired and doesn't want to stay is absolutely welcome to leave. Absolutely will not be held against you, so stay as long as you like. This probably won't be as long as most because of the substitutions we made here, but there's a lot of knowledge in the room here, probably more knowledge than we have up in front, and we encourage you all to come up with, during the question periods, to come up with your ideas, comments, arguments. It's all grist for the mill. So with that, I'll turn the mic over to Robert and let him get started with his presentation.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Mainly I'm here to proselytize over the virtues of ultrasonic cleaning. And there's a question of how long have you been collecting? And I've been collecting since before 1967. And you need tools to fix stuff. And good tools help you do the best job. We've all heard that, of course. And so make the decision to invest in good tools. Again. The old-fashioned way to clean is using scrub brushes, wire brushes, steel wool, and maybe in later years, Scotch-Brite adhesive pads, along with your cleaning solutions. And what's wrong with that? Well, the problem is, too often, it's taking the good stuff off with the bad stuff. And that's never good. So, ultrasonics, for the last 30 or 40 years in commercial practice have been the practical alternative to removing soil and contamination, oxides and so forth, without going after the good plating, the base metals and so forth. And if you couple sonic vibrations to a cleaning solution and at sufficient power levels, what actually happens is that vaporization occurs in the cleaning solution right at boundary layers. And when the microscopic bubbles expand, they move out into the cleaning solution, they condense, and then they collapse with pressures that are actually measured in thousands of pounds per square inch on a microscopic level. And what this is doing is it's bringing your solvent, your acids, whatever, into truly intimate contact with the stuff you're trying to go after. But you have to clean in steps. And here the first thing you want to do is to remove anything that's going to prevent water from getting into whatever you're cleaning. So you've got to use your favorite solvent. Of course, lacquer thinner is not my favorite solvent. I hate to use this stuff. I usually wind up using alcohol as often as I can. There's brake cleaning fluids, kerosene. I don't want to hear what type of solvents you use, maybe. But you've got to get the oily substances off first off.
Is it okay to ask questions in the middle, or do you want us to ask questions at the end?
Pop in if I can give you an easy answer.
Well, I use my wife's dishwasher.
When she's out of the house?
That's item number 2.
Okay.
Once you've removed the oily materials, you can go after the soil with an aqueous solution. And it doesn't have to be anything at all sophisticated. It's just your favorite liquid dishwashing soap and a few drops of fabric softener, liquid fabric softener. There, it's reducing the surface tension and making it easier to clean. And then you use acid solutions to remove non-ferrous oxides. That sounds pretty drastic, but not the stuff that's in car batteries, but it's the stuff that's so mild it's used in swimming pools and spas. And you see here, it's one brand that you find in the big box stores is HTH, called pH minus. It's sodium bisulfite, or bisulfate. And this, for the way I use it, of a half a teaspoon in a cup and a half of water, this is a 10-year supply. And for, I don't know, $8 or $9. So sodium bisulfite is your friend for cleaning non-ferrous oxides, which means your copper, brass, anything that's zinc or nickel plated. It is the preferred solution. And so what's a good unit to buy? 30 years ago, Heathkit, I built over my lifetime, I built about 22 Heathkits or either night kits. But Heathkit used to have a little ultrasonic cleaner, but the problem was it worked pretty good, but it was too small. And so I decided in the 90s that, hey, I've been collecting a while and I wasn't likely to stop collecting, so or wanting to do restoration work, so I said, I need to research this thing. And there you'll find several US made brands out there, and you can even find made in China, no name, no warranty outfits for a couple of $100. But the vendor I selected back then is the same vendor that I would select today. It's called Electrowave Corporation. My version of it, they sell through, in this case, Ronell Clock Supplies. But Electrowave will sell directly to you. You can pay for it with a charge card. And they're not kidding. They say it on there. They're not kidding when they're the most powerful ultrasonics in the world. There are sizes for all pocketbooks. Mine is the smallest one, the EW3. If I had money to burn, I might consider getting the EW6. But with my little caddy, which I'll tell you about in a minute, I have put a complete Philco 20 3-gang tuning condenser down and cleaned it in the ultrasonic cleaner. And that's just about the biggest thing that I ever need to clean. And you can see that I would recommend getting the timer and the heater, but I don't use it very often. But it's nice to know it's there. And but maybe I'd go for the EW6. But 1 to 2 gallons is about the right size that I've found in my work. And 99% of the time, you just put water in the tank. And what you do is you put your solvents, cleaners, whatever, in Pyrex beakers and float them in the water bath. You don't want the beakers to rest on the bottom because that puts improper loading on the ultrasonic transducers in there. And so, let's see, I get mine online. You don't want to use plastic containers because plastic will absorb the energy. It's not, and therefore the energy never gets to the parts you're trying to clean, and it makes a dramatic difference. But Pyrex beakers are online from school supply companies that sell stuff for homeschooling, and the one I go to is homesciencetools.com, and they have 400 and 600 milliliter, that's 400, and 600 milliliter beakers that I find the most useful size. And they're, what, $6, $7 a piece. And they last until you drop them on a concrete floor. So, like I was saying, you never let these beakers rest on the bottom, or if you're putting stuff into the tank, you never let it rest on the bottom of the tank. And I got maybe I didn't do enough research, but I came up with the totally genuine and unique idea of just buying some acrylic at a flea market, just a scrap sheet of acrylic, and then just cutting that out with a bandsaw and solid bonding it to where it would just sit right into the ultrasonic cleaner, and that way I would just drop my beakers into that. And so after you've cleaned it, you need to rinse it with distilled water because you've got all sorts of unmentionable things that has been floating around in there. And for me, since I'm lazy and distilled water is not very expensive, I get it for what, $1.29 a gallon at the grocery store. And so I put my distilled water in the tank, and once I've finished cleaning items, which I put in I make up a little bag out of this is nylon, and I put a drawstring on it, and I just throw my loose parts in that, and I slosh them up and down in the cleaner, and then when I'm ready to do my rinse, I just pull that out, and I just slosh, and I've rinsed them off. And one of the things that maybe I should mention is that none of these steps takes a long time, because if you're cleaning correctly, using the right materials and the right steps, zapping for 20 seconds, you're done. You're ready to move on to the next. And only when you get down to maybe parts that look like the gentleman that just did the talk had these parts that he dug out of the ground, maybe you're going to need to zap for a few minutes at a time. But if you're doing it right, the oxides and all just jump off. But you've got to, as soon as they come out of the water, you got to force dry them as soon as possible. And the blue gun on the left I bought 10 years ago, and they still make it, the Makita HD 1100. It has a thermostat, very nice thermostatically controlled dial on it, and it's $90. And I noticed that DeWalt has just come out with one, and it has a nice thermostatically controlled, and same price. So I love my Makita as much as I love the ultrasonic cleaner.